Hello and welcome to another Avengers Infinity War SH Figuarts review. Today we've got Iron Man Mark 50, and yes, my voice is still a bit dead because I'm suffering from flu and fever and gonna get this stuff out of the way, so I can't wait, I'm gonna have to do it. Okay, for more details go to the Thanos video, but much like all of the Infinity War Figuarts, they were all rushed out pretty quickly, and a lot of them seem to be more based on the concept art of the movie and not the actual movie itself. So Iron Man himself is missing accessories. He doesn't have his leg jet engine or his back wing pieces. Even Lego has it. Although Bandai did show this figure at a recent toy show, and they had those accessories. Version 2.0, anyone? Come on, Bandai, at least just sell us a little box of accessories so we don't have to rebuy this figure if you do decide to do that. That'll be really annoying, but I just know it. They're gonna release one that says deluxe version sometime later. That's annoying. Even did the same thing with Black Panther for Infinity War. Everybody pre-ordered the figure, and then they showcased at a toy show, and they had the unmasked version with the pretty good head sculpt and head print of the actor himself for Black Panther, but the head comes on the Black Panther suit with some purple highlights, like when his suit is energizing or something. I can't remember. So, well, at least the suit of this Iron Man isn't in concept art, unlike the Thanos figure. That one really suffered a lot. Starting with the head here, we have a nice sort of blue tint in the eyes. I like that a lot. And by the way, this is my first red and gold Iron Man. I don't have any other red and gold Iron Man suits, so yeah. Anyway, the head sculpt is pretty good. This is much more since this is like a nanobot suit and not his just regular iron suits. It's not as angular as the previous version, so there's a lot more little like lines coming across. There's a lot more curves on the design of this suit, and it looks pretty good. The details on the jaw piece are nice, and got this little gold coming back up there. I like it a lot, and the joints are hidden pretty well. Down to the torso here, we have a nice use of a sort of light bluish color. I think it looks pretty good. It's kind of creamy in the effect. It is a transparent piece of plastic, and the creamy effect is good for photoshopping, I suppose. You can easily select that area, and then because it's non-reflective, so you can easily select the whole area quickly and then do the light effects if you want to. And of course it's got the same sort of blue tint as the rest of the eyes, and these little blue lights all over the place. Now these are just painted on, so they'll be a bit harder to still, it doesn't affect the overall look of the figure either. Like, it still looks like there's some sort of light plate coming underneath it. Now there's no mold or details underneath that. It's not supposed to, but it still looks pretty good. Moving his arm up for a sec, you see all this little like rib and stomach like muscle patterns coming across here, and even these little details on the armpit area, this more like metal linings. It looks pretty good. And here's a quick look at the back. Now there is a little hole on each side there. That's because this piece can be removed. And reveals like some metal bit underneath. No, this isn't like a maintenance port or anything, but one of the accessories is there's a little peg that pegs in there that helps you plug this figure into Tamashii stage jack. And what I'm guessing is this was originally where you would plug in the jetpack pieces or the wing pieces. But since they were like, oh, we couldn't get it done in time, or we were cheap, so we didn't include it in the box. Obviously the arms look pretty good as well. Then this joint is actually hidden really. At first I thought the joint wasn't there when I just looked at it, but no, this is actually a joint here. But the upper shoulder is not jointed, so that's kind of annoying. But the upper arm itself doesn't have any rotating joints or anything, so it does like annoy the articulation just a little bit. Really like the golden details lining coming down here, and the painted fists are pretty good as well. The stomach detailing is okay, but I'm not quite sure what this is for. This joint, this piece of plastic here is just hovering over the actual joint. When you move it back, it's there. You're moving forward. Oh, there's a huge gap there. That kind of sucks. But whatever it is, this piece here, you got 1, 2, 3. Why are there so many joints here? I don't understand it. I'm not a toy designer, and I've reviewed a lot of figures, so I'm just thinking, is this needed? Is this necessary? But it does mean that this figure is really articulated up here. I will say that this silver lining is not painted that good though. It looks like it got a little bit messy. Iron Man's crotch area is a bit messy. Moving down to the legs, we got more of this like metallic muscle pattern on the inside of the thighs, and on the outside you got more of the Iron Man suit patterns going on, and even have patterns on the joint itself. So I like when Bandai does this. Is when Figuarts does his best work, is when even the joints have details painted and molded onto them, so that's great. And the joints actually keep the metallic shine as well. They're not like flat colored or anything like they used to be. Right down to the back of the legs, got more details there, and on the front there. And here's some really cool details. The feet itself is actually made of die-cast metal. Again, proving that this figure should have had those wings, because the only reason why they would have done the metal feet is to keep him balanced. And why do you need to keep him balanced? Is that if he's top heavy, and why would he be top heavy? Is that he has those big wings in the back, but he's not got any wings. Why? And here's a quick look at the bottom of the feet. Now, unlike Figuarts from a long time ago, I guess one of the reasons why they swapped the legs to plastic is A, budget, and B, make it easier to add more details here. But as we can see here with these die-cast feet, they still managed to mold and do a lot of sculpt detail in the feet itself. So, meaning that with today's technology, Bandai can easily fit just as much detail as they can on plastic legs as they can on the metal die-cast feet. So, in that sense, there's no reason why any Figuarts shouldn't have die-cast feet. All of them should. Now, in terms of accessories, although he is missing those wings, he still does get a fair decent amount of stuff in here. So, fist already attached to the figure, he has palm hands for flying, relaxed hands, as well as laser shooting hands. Now these hands have little pegs on them, and then you can pick the laser, either the big or the shorter ones of your own choosing. Now these, you got 4 of these, 2 for each hand, one short, one long. And they're all made out of really soft plastic, so you're not going to poke someone's eye out, hopefully. Although one of mine did come in the box slightly warped, so that's a bit annoying. But other than that, they're fine. Because I got that peg that, like I said, plugs into the back of the figure to give him his back a little bit extension for whatever accessory that was supposed to go on there. Just like the Spider-Man Homecoming and Iron Spider suit, we had those pegs as well. And we have the 2 jet effects for his feet, much like the regular Iron Man suits. And finally we have these 2 arm cannons, one for the right, one for the left, and these are lower arm replacements. You actually rip the entire lower arm off to put these on. So just get this arm here and pull down. Come on, there we go. Get the attachment piece, get it the right way around, plug it in, and there we go. Now he's got one of these weird arm cannon thingies. There is a hole there, but it's no effect parts for it, it's just to make it look like there's an actual hole there for the cannon. And the cannon itself looks pretty good as well. Fits with the rest of the motif of the suit, and it doesn't hinder the articulation at all. Whoops, there goes the hand. I know, there's this weird white dot right there. That I don't like. This is terribly painted. It looks really tacky. For the other arm, we got the big cannon. So let's remove that arm as well. And there we go. Iron Man has his bigger cannon. You see, it even has like a little laser effect there. So they got the whole cannon piece. It's quite hollow. It does feel a little bit cheap, but it's still solid. It just, when you tap it, it sounds cheap, but it seems okay compared to the rest of the figure. The overall effects do look pretty good, and there's something that you can do with this, I suppose, because this is still technically an effects piece. You can open this up from both sides, remove the effects part. You can see here, there's also a peg there for a hand, so you can put a hand in there if you want to, just to keep it realistic, I suppose, depending on the display and the photo shoot or whatever. So you can have the hand in there, fist or palm or whatever, without the effects part. And it's also more than enough space in there for someone to put a piece of light in there. So I've seen people actually picking up like a Gundam light, like a model kit light, and then they successfully just plugged it in there. Now if you remove these 2 pieces, you can see the arm itself is actually relatively similar. Now the special effect arm underneath is missing some details, but they still bothered painting it and keeping it consistent with the rest of the color, so it shouldn't look off at all when you have the effect piece attached to it. Articulation wise, you got the double neck joint as always. By the way, you cannot swap the Tony Stark head onto this, even if you have the Tony Stark Figuarts, because the neck joint doesn't fit. And it's got not full rotation here, because it just gets stuck in the way, so that's okay. It's quite stiff actually, this joint. It's also going to go really far back, really far forward, sideways, sideways. Iron Man aerobics. It's got the double socket joint in the shoulder, but the upper arm itself doesn't actually rotate. So it's got that rotation, but doesn't rotate sideways. Instead, this joint is right there, and it does go all the way around, so that's pretty cool. And you got the double elbow joint right there. Unfortunately, the fists are on a ball peg only. There's no swivel joint on it. It's literally just a ball peg, so that does hinder articulation quite a bit. I don't want to do that. That's annoying. The leg itself is on a double, like a hinge on a ball joint and hinge. Got that going on, so lots of articulation there. You can go sideways. And this here is also a ball joint, so you got a double ball joint, so you can actually give it more articulation there, so you can actually bend out and stuff. Full rotation, of course, so that's good. And this joint itself is also painted that chrome color, so that's nice. This thing is pretty stiff. Double knee joint there. Foot can go up, back, sideways, sideways. And it does have the toe joint. That up. That's 45, 50 degrees. Toe can't go down, so we got out a little bit. He can now actually do the superhero landing pose that Iron Man tends to do. The older figures can sort of do it, but it's kind of hard to do. But this figure, because of all the different joints and stuff, he can do it really well, finally. Very clear and easy to follow, and of course has the English for the international market, so that's good. It looks great. Molding wise, the details are quite spot on here. I like the little lining and muscle lining and the little details in the joints. Those all look really good, and even the hidden details when you don't normally see them. As soon as you move the figure, you definitely appreciate the effort that's put into designing this figure. I also like the paint job as well. I like this red a lot more than just a regular shiny red. There's a bit of a purple tint to this red. I just think it looks really, really nice. The joints are a bit stiff, but that's better than a bit too loose, I suppose. And I think overall they've done a really good job in actual quality control of the painting as well. Nothing's out of line. With an Iron Man suit like this, where it's more close to the body, and a lot more tinier details, aside from his stomach area that I pointed out earlier, with a really kind of odd just silver lining there, the rest of the bigger figure is printed pretty spot on, and all these tiny little thin lines all over the place, none of the silver has actually been printed out of line, so that's good. Articulation is great on this figure as well, although it does look a little bit weird from the back when you have him doing a little sit-up. His back there shows a big hole, but it is on the back, so it's excusable because you're not going to be seeing it too much. You're mostly going to be focusing on the front. But some of his articulation does open cracks into his body, so it's kind of like you got to decide if you want the figure to show cracks or not, or you just want to display him on the shelf standing up and not showing those cracks. If you don't have this Iron Man doing any extreme poses and stuff, the figure looks alright, but when he does start to do those extreme poses, that's when the torso area does fall apart in terms of visual. But I think that's okay. That's to be expected in an action figure when you are moving him around a lot, I suppose. Accessory wise is alright for the price that you're paying for, but of course I do wish that this figure did come with the proper accessories, like all of them. Like the wings and the leg jets, that would have been nice. And I'm honestly right now wondering if there's going to be like a version 2 of this figure, or they're just going to like wait to the next movie, or would it just be an effects part that we can get, maybe, hopefully. Overall, if you're an Iron Man fan, this is the best version at this scale of Mark 50. This version of the figure does make the Marvel Legends one look like utter crap, to be honest. So despite not having those back wings, this is still the best version of the Mark 50 you can get at the 112 scale. If you like Iron Man, you're a big fan, you might want to pick this up. But of course, still considering that some of the accessories are missing, and if you're wondering if they're going to release another version sometime in the future, then you probably want to wait. But yeah, it's still a good figure though, so it's up to you if you want to wait or not.
you.